Yeah, that would absolutely be a great thing. Sarah Palin, to paraphrase, said the same thing a few days back. It would be great to see women on both sides in this upcoming election, and we certainly have them. It's a matter of people being able to get them out there and finally saying the old boys club, time to break it up. Hey, Martha, it always goes so fast with you. It's ridiculous. Tell us quickly about Z Politics so people can check that out.
Yeah, just go to zpolitics.com. We focus primarily on state news for Georgia, but we throw some fun things in there too.
Well, it's always great to speak to you. Happy New Year and the best to you and your family. How are those very small dogs?
They're great. They're doing great. So I appreciate you asking. Ubi had cancer recently, and so he had to have his leg amputated. But I tell you what, it's like, he does a little bunny hop and he's doing great.
Really? Isn't that amazing? We have a dog around the block who lost her leg in a car accident. And when I first met her, I thought, oh, well, she must have been born like this. This is why she's so able, because she runs around better than, any dog around the block. And no, it just happened about a year ago. And here she is. Although I do see her sometimes try to scratch with the one leg that she's, oh, wait, got to go to the other side. Really? Well, if anybody doesn't know, Martha's dogs are not small at all. They are gigantic animals. Yeah, they are just gorgeous.
All right, well, listen, thank you so much for having me on, and I hope you have a great Happy New Year.
For more on Martha Zoller, visit zpolitics.com. This past week, Sarah Palin recognized the great patriotic rock band Madison Rising and their latest video. Palin wrote on social media, "Madison Rising, this band never ceases to amaze. Heartstrings pull and gratefulness soars while listening to this vocal Christmas card they send to our United States military. These are special musicians blessing us with the American spirit boldly coursing through their music. Thank you, Madison Rising, for using your talent to inspire and empower. Thank you, troops, for everything." Palin included the band's powerful video, Soldier's Christmas. You can access that video right on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. Also this past week, Christmas wishes from Governor Palin. She offered a special Merry Christmas to our brave men and women in uniform, especially those serving us far from home. And she also reminded us of a critical moment in history while penning yet another Obama misstep. Palin writing, quote, "On this day in 1981, President Reagan addressed the nation and encouraged us to stand in solidarity with the brave people of Poland fighting for their freedom from a communist regime. In this video, I contrast Reagan's moral clarity and courage in confronting the communists with the Obama administration's recent policy change towards Cuba. Please take a look, and I hope you'll join me this Christmas in lighting a candle for the brave human rights activists in Cuba," unquote. You can access that video that the governor mentioned at our Facebook page as well. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and visit sarahpalinchannel.com.
It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson and Kevin Scholla.
Hello, Susan. How are you?
Kevin, doing great. Had a wonderful Christmas season and just looking forward to celebrating the new year.
Well, that's good to hear and glad to have you here as always. So a lot going on in the news still. I mean, everybody enjoying Christmas time, no doubt, as we barrel to 2015, but that doesn't stop a lot of the things going on. And, of course, one of the brave officers this past weekend who was ambushed on December 20th, laid to rest, Officer Ramos in New York City. And that, of course, has a lot of baggage around it, too, with the mayor of New York.
Well, one of the main tenets of our justice system in America is you are innocent until you're proven guilty. And I think that the mayor is an example of elected officials sometimes not thinking about the impact of their words, and we all can be guilty of that. But from the standpoint of the mayor, to politicize this in a way of just really pulling down the morale of the police officers in New York City, I think that our culture right now and in America, there are some struggles from mistrust that a lot of people have in their government, and we can see how important that trust is, because without trust, the system, the way that we function, things start to fall apart. So what our elected leaders say, it does have an impact, and we need to be careful on some of these issues, especially when it comes to public safety and those that are in the line of fire each day trying to protect innocent citizens, I think that our elected leaders need to think carefully about their words.
Well, you get that Obama-type attitude from de Blasio, too. I mean, he was warned and really asked and told numerous times, don't show up at these funerals. And what does he even have to be there for? I mean, we get it, okay, but I think it'd be more of a gesture if he would say, look, I'm going to take the police at this time, take their feelings into consideration and not show, instead of having all of these hundreds of officers that turned away from the giant screens that showed the mayor speaking in protest against, his support of protesters and this whole racial divide situation. So he was asked to do that. He didn't do that. He still had to make sure he was seen there doing his thing. And, I give the officers a lot of credit for sticking to their guns here and really making sure that people hear what's going on, because we sure know what was reported by the media throughout all this, really painting cops in a bad light. And it's nice that they haven't backed down on this to show the real side of Comrade de Blasio.
Right, and we're just going to have to remember here the media is also playing a part in really bringing about excitement or mistrust or what have you on some of these issues just to get a story. And I think that Americans they're troubled by what they're seeing from their elected leaders in government, but I think there's also a responsibility on the media side to also be measured in what they choose to report and make sure that there are facts to base, their stories on. And I think that what we're seeing in our culture right now, we're at a real point here where we need to do some serious reflecting on the impact of elected officials, their actions, their words, and how important it is for those that work for the government as far as our public safety officials, how important it is for the leaders to resist sometimes these political statements when we're talking about the safety and the welfare of our citizens and those that put themselves on the line every day to defend our citizens.
Well, we warned folks about this particular mayor, though, way back before he was inaugurated and elected. I think we were talking more along the lines of his radical pro-abortion views, but here we're seeing his far, far left views as far as race relations and race baiting and the way he acted during the riots and the things that happened on the heels of the New York City situation as well as the Ferguson situation combined. So now we're just seeing it come to pass again. I mean, it's just so similar to President Obama. Things we saw before he was in the White House, and now the same thing with de Blasio in City Hall in New York City. I mean, it's a told you so moment again where, gee, I really wish we were wrong.
Exactly. I agree with you, and I think that the average person is really reaching a point right now of just frustration with what is happening in the culture. And it is going to be up to us, the people, to really step in here and show some leadership ourselves, within our own communities, and just having more people willing to step into leadership positions. I think that we are in dire need of just normal, everyday citizens to step forward and have more of an impact in their community. And some of these elected officials that aren't really choosing their words wisely and aren't showing real leadership in this, I think it's time for them to move on.
Well, after all of these ridiculous gestures and wearing of shirts against police officers by athletes and people in Hollywood and these comments made by politicians, we have seen some great things in recent days. I know a restaurant in Texas is offering free food to their officers until the end of the year. I know in southern New Jersey they just really highlighted some police officers who were out there helping kids with Christmas gifts over the past holiday week. And a great job by the Rutgers football team in their bowl game over this past weekend, wearing NYPD caps on the sideline to show their support to the families of those two officers that were murdered senselessly in New York City. So, it's good to see that that's coming out, and the media can't hide from that. But, Susan, we appreciate your sentiments today, and, of course, all year long. Happy New Year to you, and thanks so much for all you do.
Thank you, Kevin, and I appreciate this opportunity, and I hope that you have a wonderful New Year as well.
Susan Stimson in Virginia. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week. Now it's time for Steel Resolve. Sarah Steelman has the week off, so I'll say a few words about 2014 and the impact Sarah Palin has had on things. The governor has used her influence all year long to effect positive change, swing elections, and keep topics out there that the lamestream media may otherwise ignore. Throughout the year, Palin praised our military and talked a lot about sports. She gave us an inside look at Todd Palin's Iron Dog run and Piper Palin's basketball season. She rooted for the Seahawks and showcased players like Derek Coleman, who make a real difference. Palin picked apart Obamacare and showed us some great pictures and videos of the adorable Trig Palin. She threw it back in the face of pundits when she was proven right on Ukraine and so much more. Palin wowed CPAC once again and fought for those with special needs. She endorsed numerous candidates, putting many over the top and others on the map. Amazing America debuted and was a smashing success. Madison Rising sang the theme song, and Palin delivered a quality show all year long. She introduced the masses to the Convention of States, and she took a lot of fun selfies with her beautiful daughters. Palin honored our D-Day heroes and all our vets. She called out Obama and didn't mince words for his hypocrisy and failures. She went fishing and hunting. She prayed. Palin called for Obama's impeachment while the spineless played ball. She challenged the media to do its job for a change. She compared and contrasted Obama to other presidents. Palin launched her own channel so supporters could join her and go rogue. She lauded Limbaugh and Levin. Palin took the Ice Bucket Challenge and palled around with the Duck Dynasty gang. She paused on 9/11 and called for common sense and action when it comes to energy policy. Palin chided not just Democrats but squishy Republicans. She exposed global warming for what it is, a con job. She worshipped with Billy Graham and his family. She celebrated an election night tsunami but warned the GOP to do their job. Palin observed the holidays, including Christmas, which she isn't afraid to say loud and clear. She gave us a preview of Amazing America Season 2 and a preview of the year ahead. Sarah Palin made a huge impact. And we're sure Governor Palin will be a big part, in a very positive way, of 2015. Thank you, Governor, for all you do, and Happy New Year. For Sarah Steelman, I'm Kevin Scholla on Mama Grizzly Radio. Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Commonwealth Common Sense and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Susan B. Stimson, at Sarah_Steelman, and at 3DSTS. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Susan Stimson, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Martha Zoller, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, 3D Security and Training Academy. Visit 3dsta.com. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day, and Happy New Year.